Over the years, it's become our custom here at Central Synagogue to have congregants share a story from their own lives that brings a timely meaning to the Hashanah story. And so we're so grateful this morning that our member, Qian Julie Wang, who is a founder of our Jews of Color group here at Central, will offer us a teaching.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. Shana Tova. When did you first learn to pray? For me, it happened in the bathroom. It was a tiny bathroom in Brooklyn in 1995. I was 8 years old and had just started the 3rd grade. The year before, I had gone from being just another kid in China to being an illiterate, undocumented immigrant in New York City who went to school hungry every single day. After school, I sat next to my educated mother in the sweatshop and watched as she slaved over the sewing machine, earning pennies per article of clothing. New to the idea of race, I got so used to being called a chink that I figured it was just the English word for Chinese. New to the idea of being illegal, I learned to turn and run every time I saw someone in uniform. My parents and I made our home in a single room, full of love, laughter, and furniture from the sidewalk trash. On the day I found prayer, or really prayer found me, I had locked myself in the bathroom we shared with our many roommates. It was the only place I could find real privacy, at least when I ignored the angry knocks on the door. And on that day, I sat, as I always did, on top of the toilet lid. Usually I had a book with me, but that day I was completely alone. My hands cupped to my face, bloated from tears. My parents, the only 2 people I trusted in the entire Western Hemisphere, were fighting again. It was a new ritual in America, where it seemed no matter how fast we moved, we could never outrun the cloud of poverty, the fear of deportation, and our waning hopes. At this point, I did not know religion. I had never been introduced to God. I knew only that I felt so very alone. But as I sat there with my stomach turning over itself, I heard a new kind of call. Without even registering it, I slid off the toilet lid and kneeled in front of it. I raised my clasped hands before me and found 5 words. Please, let everything be okay. I was hooked from there. Every day I went and found my sanctuary. I did it even as things got worse, even when I barely had the energy to mutter the word please in a chain for minutes on end, rocking back and forth as my loneliness dissolved against the force field of my words. My husband will tell you that I still lock myself in our bathroom today. He might say, only God knows why. Or as Rabbi Buchdahl suggests, he might even say, how adorable. In today's Haftarah, And infertile Hannah exemplifies the life-giving force of true prayer. The courageous kind of prayer that airs to light our deepest vulnerabilities. This kind of prayer is so rare in adulthood that Eli mistakes it for drunkenness. In my childhood, I engaged in daily prayer not because it changed anything outside of me. As we have seen in this pandemic, in that cave of survival, it's not really external change that matters. No, in our darkest moments, what matters is that prayer changes us. On that first day, I found something to believe in, a faith to keep company with. The words of Rabbi Joseph Albo from 15th century Spain still ring resoundingly true. Prayer does not change God. It changes we who pray. For me, as for so many Jews of color, praying in synagogue demands vulnerability in the extreme. It hurts to wear our skin here. At every synagogue I've tried, and I've tried many, I am assumed to know nothing about my own religion. Recently, a study conducted by Stanford University found that 80% of American Jews of color have experienced discrimination in Jewish settings. 80%. That's higher than our country's vaccination rate. And I thought I would get used to it, but I never have. And that might be the most Jewish part about me. I can never seem to get used to injustice. So I will let you in on a new ritual. Before I enter any Jewish space, I pause, I breathe, and I gird myself for the dehumanizing interrogations, the mirthless stares, the questions about the kind of Asian I am, and the lists of Asians that people have known or have dated. But I have to admit, this ritual is not so effective, because each time the comments materialize again, I dissolve back into that loneliness of my childhood. I long again for my bathroom sanctuary. I even regret being Jewish. Why, I ask, are white Gentiles treated better than I am in my own house of worship? Was this what Hannah felt when her prayers were misunderstood? But there is also the healing power of Judaism. I am never more at home than when I am with my fellow Jews of color, my extended family. And all of the magical moments of my life have happened during the days of awe. In fact, during my first Yom Kippur fast, I found myself attending services in a public school cafeteria. And it was there, in front of the serving station, where I would have received my first meal of the day, that free lunch, that I finally reclaimed my power from hunger. That little undocumented girl has somehow found her way home. The days of awe are a time of teshuvah, of return. And as we return to praying together in services, I pray that we return to our roots. Ours is the religion of the displaced, the marginalized, the enslaved. There's a reason Rabbi Heschel marched alongside Dr. King and Selma, remarking, "My legs were praying." So, at the threshold of this great year 5782, I ask each and every member of this powerful congregation, when did you first learn to pray? Might it have been a time when you too felt lonely, lost, hungry? May this Rosh Hashanah recall us all back to that time. And may the wisdom of that pure vulnerability light our way into the new year. Thank you.